doing training. National Academy.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you. Madam, sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Have you left IDS or not?
Yes, sir. Last year I got selected in Indian Revenue Service with all India
That
rank.
was not here. That's why I wondering. So you are in IAS now
Yes, sir.
and reported for training?
No, sir. I've taken UL.
You have not gone for that.
No, sir.
But IDS you completed for 2 years and all.
Sir, ideas also I completed about 10 months of probation because 1 year I was on UL.
Where is the training imparted?
Sir, it is NADFM in Pune.
And you come to NIFM Faridabad also?
Yes, sir. That is 6 months of common
Did
course.
you attend that?
Yes, sir. I attended. the
Which year?
NIFM. Sir, last year itself.
Last year.
Yes, sir.
You have opted for English literature and you have been a student of English literature already.
Yes, sir.
Are you a Gujarati or what? No.
Sir, my roots are in Delhi, but we have been in Gujarat for the last 14 years, residing in Gujarat.
Who was this Maharaja Sayaji, after whom the name is there?
Sir, Maharaja Sayaji Rao III was a ruler of the Gaikwad dynasty, 1875, and sir, he is said to be a pioneer of the Baroda princely state in terms of education, like our own college started in 1881,
Yes.
arts, and also in economics, like the Bank of Baroda.
Some very prominent national figures have worked under this education institution and all that. Can you recall somebody? They were
Sir,
associated with Maharaja Sayaji.
yes, sir. Sir, Sri Aurobindo was a teacher in the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University.
Yes.
B.R. Ambedkar was also given a doctoral degree from there. And sir, I can think of Raja Ravi Verma. He was also under the patronage of
That's all.
Sir
That's
Sayaji Rao.
all this is correct. All right. What made you fall in love with English literature?
Sir,
What
my love,
attracted you?
yes, sir. Sir, my love for literature was always there because I felt the most free because of the creative element of literature. And sir, English specifically because I was more exposed to English content during my childhood. And sir, soon I realized that it opens up an almost global window for me to consume English literature from all across the world.
What consists of the English literature syllabus of UPSC? What all comes under that?
So we have two papers spanning from the Renaissance times, which is Shakespeare, John Donne, the metaphysical poetry. And then, sir, it goes on to the early modern period, which is as far back as Joseph Conrad. And sir, there are some Indian writers as well, for example, A.K. Ramanujan, or people of Indian origin like V.S. Naipaul.
All right. What do you know about some of the Indo-Anglican writers, people of Indian origin who have excelled in English writing?
Sir, I believe it's reference to the diaspora writers who are Indian in origin and now residing abroad.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
That's your hobby also, diaspora writing?
Yes, sir, it's one of my interests.
Yes, yes.
So, sir, we have made a major stride in terms of writers like Salman Rushdie or Jhumpa Lahiri or Anita Desai, Kiran Desai. So these are the writers who write about themes like loss of homeland, memory, nostalgia, etc. And also how they adjust in the new multicultural setup of going away from their homeland.
You've read any of them?
Yes, sir, I've read these writers.
Like which one?
Sir, like Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children, or sir, recently I've read Kiran Desai's Inheritance of Loss, or Jhumpa Lahiri's The Namesake.
Inheritance of Loss is by Kiran Desai.
Yes, sir.
Jhumpa Lahiri, which book?
Sir, The Namesake. And also I've read Unaccustomed Earth, which is a collection of short stories.
I've read both of them. Well, let's come to the theme of plot of Namesake. What is that?
Sir, it traces two generations of migrants from Bengal who moved to the United States. And sir, the name suggests Gogol, the protagonist, and it is his struggle of contending between his Indian identity and the American identity. And the name that changes from Gogol to Nikhil and what all it comprises. Also, sir, it ends with the death of his father and also a failed marriage. So somewhere it is not reconciled, and therefore the struggle for identity continues.
She also mentions about the Gurkha movement in the Darjeeling region, in namesake.
Sir, if I'm right, it is the inheritance of loss where this Darjeeling Gurkha.
Darjeeling is their inheritance.
Yes, sir.
But that's why I was telling you are saying that it's Kiran Desai. This again is by Jhumpa Lahiri. Inheritance of Loss is a book by Jhumpa Lahiri, not Kiran Desai.
Sir, I'll definitely check it out.
It is for sure.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
All right. Anything about V.S. Nepal? Any books you have read?
Yes, sir. It is within our syllabus itself, the House for Mr. Biswas. And sir, I've also read the Area of Darkness.
Area of Darkness.
Yes,
So,
sir.
what is the theme of that?
Sir, it is an impressional writing, also a travelogue by V.S. Naipaul on his visit to India and how he's not able to reconcile with what he sees in India. And sir, it has certain amount of controversial aspects as well in the way it was taken in India because of all the criticisms that came with it.
Have you heard or read Nirad Chaudhary?
Sir, I know the autobiography of an unknown Indian, but I've not read it.
You have not read Nirad
No,
Chaudhary?
sir.
That's fine. Pandey.
So, how would you assess India's proficiency in English as an advantage as well as disadvantage?
So when it comes to the proficiency, I see it as an advantage because of the global opportunities that it is opening up. We can see it in the form of the success of the Indian diaspora in the Anglosphere world, which is Western Europe and North America. But sir, it becomes a disadvantage when there is a comparative aspect added to it, from which I mean the eliteness that is associated with English. Sir, this can be seen in social spaces like airports, malls, where English is prioritized, and also in institutional structures like examinations.
No, that is fine. But how this English colonial mindset, how do you think it has hindered our natural growth of our society? As we are divorced from the heritage. And we forget to take pride in our local language or local, folklore because of the Western influence.
Yeah, indeed, sir. Sir, I would agree when it becomes hierarchical. When English is given precedence to local languages, it would be at the expense of the local languages. But sir, I would also say that English opens up avenues. So in terms of our own mythology, like Ramayana and Mahabharata, have been written by a lot of writers like Vivek Devroy or Devdutt Patnaik. So sir, I see both the sides of the coin.
Okay. Now, if you look at the diaspora, as such, like how diaspora has become a strategic asset for India. And how it is to be further harnessed to project India's, great civilization or cultural heritage.
Sir, in terms of how it is important, sir, an evident is the economic factor in terms of be it remittances, which have crossed $100 billion, or also the access to international market or mentorship. So for example, Hinduja brothers have given access to Indian enterprises in the UK because they're very well established there. So politically, it is the track to diplomacy. A very clear example was the nuclear deal with the United States. And sir, culturally also, Honorable Prime Minister have called the diaspora as our Rashtraduts because they are a conduit for our culture to be there. Sir, as to how we can harness them, sir, I can think of a few schemes which are already in place, like Vaibhav and Prabhas, which is to attract high-skilled diaspora back in the country. So economically, I think we can explore more options. Like in Israel, there are diaspora bonds for infrastructure. So maybe something similar to that we can replicate.
We did have a kind of bond which was issued to refurbish our foreign exchange. Do you remember? We have experiment with this kind of diaspora bond.
So sorry, sir, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'll check on that.
Resurgence India bond, which was issued during when we made this Pokhran nuclear experiment. At that time, there was sanction, and so at that time we have explored that kind of. Now you are at present with Indian Revenue Service.
Yes, sir.
So, in what way our taxation system is now more progressive and more broad-based, and it is harnessing the economic potential of India?
Sir, as to the technical aspects, I think I'll get to know more once I join the training. So from my readings, what I know is the direct taxation, the faceless, is something that has brought more efficiency into the system. And in indirect taxation, it is the whole GST regime, which has reduced the issue of multiplicity of taxes across the chain.
No, but this what is the proportion of our tax to GDP, and that proportion is less than what is supposed to be contributed by tax, or we are going in the right direction?
Sorry, sir, I'll have to check more on the proportion data.
What is the tax GDP proportion? You are not like how much of
Sir, can I make
just
approximate guess? So it is somewhere around 10 to 11%.
11%?
somewhere.
Okay. And the contribution of direct tax and indirect tax, you have some idea, like how much is contributed by, more is contributed by direct tax or indirect tax?
Sir, again, I'll have to
Okay,
check on
okay. Yes.
that.
So you worked in the IDAS for some time,
Sir, I did my probation there for 1 year. Yeah.
but why was the need felt for a different defense account service? Like what is different in the case of defense account from civil accounts?
Sir, the origin is more historical and colonial in its nature, because during the colonial rule in the 18th century, defense spending was a major part, and therefore a separate department was created. Sir, at present, the rationale for continuing this is said to be the domain expertise of the defense accounts personnel, and also the security aspect that is into it is why we have a separate service for it.
Okay, like one can understand for the railways, like for the railways, they had a separate budget at one point, but in view of the rationalization that is taking place, so what is your view that can the account services, they all can be brought under one umbrella?
Sir, there are definitely some plus points, because we have seen that the basic principles that we work on, such as GFR or let's say pension rule, allowances rules, they are all similar. So, sir, this is an idea which is under consideration. But, sir, it's also going to lead to a stronger cadre, like a bigger cadre in terms of the service and exchange of best practices. So, we have also seen that there are some redundancies. The same procedures are being repeated across the services. So, this is a viable idea under consideration.
And what would be your view about reforms in the defense sector itself? Like say with regard to modernization or reforms in the ordnance factories, or using defense land as a resource, monetizing it.
So indeed, these are really viable and preferable ways. And sir, also in terms of what I can think of modernization is the making the defense forces more lean in terms of the tooth to tail ratio, also the quality of expenditure that we are doing. So especially in the army, for example, the revenue expenditure is as high as 84% in the army. And so a lot of structural steps are being taken, including one being Agniveer in it.
Okay. So for the Ministry of Defense, how many demands are there? Any idea how many demands are presented along with the budget?
Sorry, sir, I'll have to check on that.
Okay. Now some some economists have put forth the view that that all growth is not equal. Like an argument has been put forth even before the interim budget was presented in the economic review that precedes it, that when India grew at 8%, the rest of the world was growing at around 4%. And now India is growing at 7%, while the rest of the world is growing at around 2 or 2.5%. So this growth is superior to the earlier growth. So can we have this sort of a comparison that comparing two sets of growth and saying one set is superior?
Sir, I don't think this is very rational, in the sense that the contexts were very different of what is being referenced. So the earlier, I think, is the early impacts of the opening of the economy, the reforms, liberalization, privatization reforms. And then, sir, there were a lot of flow of FDI at that time, which was driving the growth. So the present is more to do with the recovery after the COVID pandemic. So the comparison of the two would be not very feasible, I believe.
Now, in the budget itself, personal income tax that has exceeded the corporation tax or even the GST. So is it a healthy development?
Yes, sir. In a way, it is a healthy development because, sir, the income tax is a progressive taxation as against the indirect taxes, which are across the board. So as the income of our citizens increase, the tax will be more equitable, in the sense that those who have higher income are going to pay higher taxes as against indirect taxation.
But then GST was hailed as a revolutionary step. So what has come in the way? Because it was expected to boost the GDP by 1 to 2%, based on various factors which would go into its implementation. So what is your view? Has it achieved its potential? Is it progressing in that direction? Or what are the constraints?
Sir, as to the progress, we have crossed 1.5 lakh monthly collections, which was higher than ever it was before. But sir, perhaps the approximation in the beginning, which was a 14% growth, was a little overestimated. And sir, some concerns which I can think of are the executive side. The whole structure in terms of the number of tax slabs, also the items which are excluded. So maybe that is the challenge as of now.
Now, what is the difference between this finance bill and the appropriation bill?
Sir, I only know of the stages as of now, that the appropriation bill is put forth first, as in appropriating the demands, and the changes that come up accordingly, including in the other legislations, is a form of the finance bill.
Okay, but how is it that some duties or new duties or revision in the existing duties, they become effective immediately as soon as the budget is presented?
Sir, I'm sorry, I'll have to check more on that.
Right. So now, from your selection of your preferences,
Only IAS.
Yes.
only IAS. So is there a specific reason you wish to join the IFS?
Sir, yes, sir. Ever since I started preparing for the civil services, sir, I see the present and the coming future as very important for the service, with India's rise on the global platform. And sir, I strongly wish to be part of setting that Indian narrative for the world.
Okay. So you don't have a preference for the administrative service?
So the reason being why I didn't take IAS is because I wanted IFS. If I put it first, then I might not be able to give the exam again. So sir, my inclination towards IFS was stronger.
Okay, fine. So what do you feel are the strong points of our economic diplomacy?
Sir, first, the fact that success speaks for itself. Sir, now that we are the fifth largest economy and the biggest market, we are going to attract investments from all across the world. That is in itself true. Sir, also aligned with it, the developmental diplomacy that we do in terms of the developmental works in our nature, in our neighborhood, are different in its nature. Let's say, for example, China, which has a debt trap diplomacy. Sir, our approach is more aligned towards the local needs and creating local capacities. For example, the IT sector in South Africa.
Okay. So just being the largest capacity, largest economy in terms of size, having a large base, is it in itself enough attraction for people to invest in India, or for India to claim that it is having a significant presence or significant influence? Just the size of GDP, I'm saying, is it in itself sufficient to claim, to stake a claim to such?
No, sir.
What are the other factors that go in India's favor?
Yes, sir. It is just one of the many factors, the size of the market. Sir, the next would be our ease of doing business, as in our policy measures that we are putting forth. And sir, also our future vision, for example, the renewable energy sector, which is an emerging sector. So in these emerging and critical technologies also, we are attracting investment and talent from across the world.
But what is happening at the grassroots? This is what is being projected at the national level, at the macro level.
Yes.
But what is happening to the decentralized decision making at the decentralized level, where at the cutting edge, where this activity really happens? So what are the constraints that are coming in the way of decentralizing the decision making?
Sir, if I may clarify the ground, how are we implementing it on the ground?
Yeah, because there are a lot of lacuna that have been observed.
Yes, sir.
So do you see any conflict between making pronouncements at the national level and they not materializing at the ground level?
Sir, I do see some challenges in terms of the legacy issues we have. Sir, for example, the labor law issues that we have. Sir, there are also concerns in terms of the skill of our workforce. Then, sir, some logistical challenges. It is said that almost 14% of our GDP is lost in the logistics itself. So that is there, but sir, also the improvement that we have done in our ease of doing business, our rank improved to 63%, the 63rd rank. It's a testimony to the fact that we are making policy changes. And sir, it is also reflecting, giving results. What I can think of is, sir, Make in India in defense. So our exports have risen by 700%. So sir, it means that our economic diplomacy is on the right track.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Atul,
Yes, sir.
Foreign Service. Tell me the three lady IFS officers who became the secretary. Not in order, just remember, do you remember?
Sir, as to secretary, I can only think of Nirupama Rao, ma'am.
Yes, and what is more before that? One after that. Chokla here,
Okay, sir.
Sujata Singh.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Tell me, what is the role of soft power in diplomacy? And as in the foreign service, how success? Tell me some steps, some past experiences. Name some of the such efforts.
Sure, sir. Sir, the constituents of foreign policy include, as per Joseph Nye, our soft power includes our foreign policy, our culture, and our political values. And sir, I see all three of them working in different aspects.
Yes.
So, for example, our leader, we emerging as the leader of the global South, is a manifestation of our foreign policy succeeding in terms of soft power. Sir, similarly, institution like Quad, which is aligned with democracies across the Indo-Pacific.
Also, I will just interrupt. Forget about the normal channels of everyone discusses. I'm talking about only soft power. Talk about soft power.
So I was referring to our power as a democracy is attracting these alliances, the formation of these alliances.
I get you.
Yes,
But
sir.
I still want, if you can elaborate on the soft power. What is ICCR?
Sir, Indian Cultural
Indian Council.
Council for Cultural Relations.
Which department it comes? In the culture, home, or Ministry of External Affairs?
Sir, if I remember correctly, it is part of MEA itself.
And no, ICCR is one such body. There are many
Yes,
others.
yes, sir.
I ask you some of the past where the diplomacy, the culture diplomacy, you may call soft power, was much in news, much before UK were born and not. Have you heard festivals of India abroad?
Yes, sir, I have heard of it. But, sir, I'm a little confused whether it's in Europe or the United States.
Everywhere. The one, the UK one I did attend with Rajiv Gandhi.
Yes, sir.
The concept of which had come during Rajiv Gandhi's time.
Yes, sir.
In India, it was Apna Desh and abroad was Festival of
Festival of
India. Why is such festivals are not taking place?
Sir, I'll have to check more on what is the present condition of this.
You hear personality cult. In Washington, there was show of one of our leaders, but at the culture, this thing. How many cultural centers India has?
Sir, I'll have to check on that figure.
Okay. Now I ask you, in Bangladesh, through soft power, if I say, are you interested in films?
Sir, to a certain, very
Yes.
limited extent.
Okay, I will leave it to you. It can be in Bangladesh. You have to do strengthen the relations through films, music, and textiles. 3 things, 1 line each. What will you look at?
Sir, in all of these, I would want to see what is our common convergences.
You know.
So, for example, for films, some stalwarts like Satyajit Ray is something that we can
you
together
said it.
work
Now
on.
Come to textiles.
And sir, in textile, I think the historical connect that we have, the muslin, was something that is common.
Next, the
And
music.
sir, music, perhaps Rabindranath Tagore
Very
sir's
good.
writings.
Excellent, excellent. Suppose you have to do a translate a strategy for Colombo, Sri Lanka. What will be the aspects? I will not name the textile and all. What will be those?
So some common convergences I can think of in terms of our mythology, which binds us together.
Yes.
Also the language connect that we have, Tamil. And so the cuisine is also said to be very similar, especially yes sir, tea as well. And so the Sri Lankan and Malayali cuisine is said to be very similar. So
Okay.
we can explore
Now,
that too.
You see, generally we have good relations. On soft power, we don't have problem. Only with Pakistan, we are unable to grab it. They don't allow, more from their side, Indian films, and we also have the problem if someone comes, maybe the cricket or some good theatre or singers, we pass the fatwa and ban. How do you look at it? Both, your own views, can something be done?
Sir, as to why this issue arises is because of the dominance of hard power over soft power. It cannot be viewed in vacuum as our stand of no talks with terrorism. Sir, as to improvement, I see connectivity is the only solution at multiple levels, be it physical in terms of, for example, TAPI, the pipeline for gas pipeline, increasing the trade as much as we can. So, for example, General Bajwa has hinted that there's a need for shift to geoeconomics rather than geopolitics.
You see, we know the situation. The government to government institutions is not happening. But what is people to people connect? Can that change the scenario?
Yes, sir. Sir, I see that an institutional connect, for example, exchange of academia or media can play a role, and also people to people connect. So, for example, student exchange, we have a common Indus Valley civilization. So, this common heritage is something that we can build people to people connect on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
God
sir.
bless you.
Thank you, sir.
I think fair enough. You can go now. We'll call you further.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. ठीक है
May I come in, sir?
हाँ
कब है इंटरव्यू करो?
Thank you, sir. Sir, 19th of March.
ठीक है
You have a
तुम्हारा
lot of
तो
time, है ना?
मार्च से आया था पिछली बार जब किए थे तो
Sir,
2 बार दिए होंगे ना
कम
तो?
ही आया था 165, 168.
उसी रेंज में आया था?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा ठीक है।
So, you are performing well. What kind of questions came?
Sir, actually the issue was that I was not truthful in my interview.
Ah.
I had written a hobby which was not really my hobby. I just heard somewhere else mention it.
Okay.
And
You have to be.
So one panel member only asked me about that, like 6-7
Which board was that?
So Satyavati ma'am board.
Which hobby? Which hobby?
Which hobby?
Sir, reflective writing.
No.
I do write, but not very much.
I think no. By the very word reflecting writing, it seems that it has been lifted as a hobby. Matlab, you know that
Not a common word.
that itself
Everybody is doing it.
everybody is doing it.
Without meaning it.
We find that reflecting writing, and that is very.
चलिए ठीक है.
Anyway, कोई बात नहीं. I think now we will do much your performance.
You know, Atul, you have been twice. You know, you have high potential, but much will depend on written marks.
Yes.
I mean, for us, you have been an excellent.
Thank
You
you.
know, a piece of cake for us.
Thank you.
Full of-
You will build on your past experience and do better this time. That's
Yes.
what I feel. So there is nothing new that we can tell you. You have been twice there. So you know how it happens and all that. Just keep your cool and then present the available personality that you have. That's all.
Sure.
But read something about more about taxation. Like
Yes, sir, I've
somebody
completely
may ask.
ignored that part.
Somebody,
That was-
although you are not undergoing training, but somebody may think
Yeah,
that.
yes.
So you try to cover that flank,
Yes,
taxation system or whatever it is. And then, so English literature you are ठीक है. Diaspora, so again some questions may come on diaspora, India's diaspora
No,
policy.
in that diaspora policy, one part, second part diaspora writing.
Right.
You are talking about books that were written 10 years back, 15 years back. This Jhumpa Lahari has written a very new book, and for that she shifted to Italy or some other place and she learned that language.
Yes.
This is the latest thing I read about it.
Yes.
So you should engage with the latest things of these people, no?
That also you can.
Yeah, you do that.
Yes.
And
So
how
full page interview at now.
how diaspora writing has also reflected the the kind of anguish or melancholy and other things which immigrants faced during pre-colonial period also and after.
Yes.
So that also you can.
That is coming in the unaccustomed earth.
Yes, sir. True.
That is the story of that only. लेकिन ये इससे तुम्हारा प्लस पॉइंट हो जाएगा ये जो मैं बता रहा हूँ झुम्पा लाहिरी का पढ़ लेना लेटेस्ट जो अभी लिख रही हो और सब ठीक है और कुछ कहने के लिए नहीं आपको व्हाट सजेशन कैन वी गिव यू ऑलरेडी यू आर एनी क्वेश्चन कैन कम
You were there in NIFM?
Yes, sir. I was there.
Sure. Okay.
Sir, during the classes.
Yes, I know. I remember. He
When
also
I go
took a
sometimes
class.
to take classes maybe you were not present I had addressed your bachelor's
Yes.
Right.
ethics did you attend the ethics class no
Sir, I was there last to last year.
I go every year I am their teacher for ethics so
Yes, sir.
maybe you
So you were last to last year.
Yes.
Okay.
Do well, you will do very well.
Yeah.
You are dressed up, cheerful, is all diplomat.
Yeah. You look like a diplomat. Let's hope that you get good marks in interview. So I think this time you should try aspire for 85, 90. That will put you in a better position.
What should be the position for the last one to be in the IFS? Generally, where it's
Sir, this time it ended at 88 for the general
88.
category. Yes.
general category 88.
Yes, sir. So for the last 2 years, it has been 88, 87 like that.
how has been the written?
So my written, it was good. Like
Good, huh?
so
That's
mains,
why
I feel like I have a
162,
command.
yeah.
Interview was the issue.
Okay.
You were also in cultural thing there in NIFM.
No, sir, I was not there
Who is
because I
CSE
had
on that?
interview at that time.
Okay.
Very serious note.
Okay. ठीक है, no problem.
सर उस दौरान भी इंटरव्यू था पिछले साल वाला.
चलो ठीक
ठीक है, I
I
think
think
just
to prepare on the foreign aspect. उसको भी
फॉरेन सर्विस ने क्लेम किया है तो यू शुड नो थॉरली अबाउट इंडियन फॉरेन पॉलिसी एंड दिस एंड दैट
आप वो जयशंकर की 1-2 किताबें पढ़ लीजिए.
Yes,
है ना?
sir.
किताबें पढ़ लीजिए अदरवाइज जितने स्टेटमेंट
जिस्ट है वो पढ़ लीजिए. जैसे उसका स्टेटमेंट है वही अपने आप में काफी है. अगर स्टेटमेंट में 2-3 देख ले फिर उसका जैसे एक यूरोप के बारे में है ना.
You must prove your claim on foreign service. They will ask you why you are interested on the IAS at the cost of IAS. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, all
Thank
the
you.
best.
You should never come out too early on the foreign affairs. Let me warn
Yes,
you.
yes.
It's going to be very, very litmus test for you.
Thank you, sir.
अब हमारे पास चॉइस है